everybody. Hello. We shall be talking money, finance, all those things that zinahusiana na pesa zetu zenye tunatengeneza kwa our hustle. So I will be sitting down on a very regular basis, if not all the time, with Mr. Joseph Kanani. You have met him before, and we shall be discussing debt on Money Mondays. Karibu sana tena Joseph Kanani.
Asante, Eunice.
Yes.
So leo umeamua tuongee kuhusu madeni.
Yes, madeni. Tutatokaje kwa madeni wenye kwa mafuliza, kwa maemshwari, kwa tala? How do we avoid debt actually altogether?
That's a very interesting and good topic because debt is two-edged. It's good. Deni ni mzuri, but also debt is bad. And debt, like even in the Bible, debt is actually in the Lord's Prayer. Yeah, we say,
give us this day our daily bread
and forgive us our debts.
Nice,
as we forgive those that owe us. Yeah, and debt. The good part of debt is that if it's for productivity, it's good. It helps you to move maybe from one level to another level at a higher rate. But if it is for merely consumption, then debt is bad. And that is the debt that even the Bible condemns, because it said that if you owe someone money, then you're like his slave.
Yeah, very true. Debt can be crippling for someone.
Yes. And, you've mentioned about those apps that give people debt. And as much as we might view them as if they are bad, they're actually good. Because to them, that is business. That is their line of business. And your application of that debt is not their liability. If you take that debt, you go and make more money with that money. It means you've benefited more than even them. Because if you take a debt of 10,000 shillings and you pay interest of, let's say, 1,000 shillings, but use that 10,000 to make 5,000, so you've earned from that debt.
Yeah.
But so that we don't beat around so many bushes, I think we should specifically talk about the bad debt.
The bad debt.
And how to get out
of the bad debt.
Of the bad debt.
Please take us through that.
Okay. Anyone who is watching us or listening to us right now and you don't have a debt, please stand up. No, I don't think there's anyone who will stand. Even if we wait for how long. Everyone has a debt. And if you watched our previous episode, we said if you fail to budget for your income, you'll fill those gaps using debt. Yeah?
Very true.
Very true. And when you accumulate so many debts, it becomes a burden. Right now, if you watch the news, the national news, Kenya has so many debts.
Yeah, true.
We're talking about trillions
of
in debt.
Yeah.
And the experts say that most of our taxes, the taxes that we are charged today, more than half usually goes towards repayment of debt.
Yeah.
So very little is left for development or doing things that are good for the government or for the common man, because most of that money is being used to repay debts that were taken a long time ago. The other thing about debt is it has a cost. Rarely will someone give you debt
without any interest.
Without any interest.
Yeah.
And so the cost of debt makes it even more expensive. Yeah. So what should we do? Because that is the question. One, to avoid debt. Because if you're already in debt, okay, we have to accept that as a fact. You're in debt.
You're in debt, and you want to get out of debt. Yeah.
And what is the best way to control that point is to avoid getting into more debt. So that now we can start talking about how to get out of the debt that you're already in.
Yeah.
So we I've already discussed before, and one of them is, to put it straightforward, is to downsize.
To downsize.
Yeah. Or
move from a bigger house to a, the
Yeah.
middle income estate to an affordable area.
yeah, that is one way.
That is one way.
Yeah, stop eating sausages and bacon every day for breakfast. Stop going out every weekend. Yeah.
Interestingly, bread is very affordable.
Yes.
But again, anyway.
Not even bread. Ndomas and gouaches are even more affordable, more healthy.
Yeah.
And so, in other words, live within your means. That is one of the greatest lessons in finance, living within your means. So that you don't need to fill your budget with money from outside. Yeah. Then the second thing is face the problem head on. With a pen and a piece of paper, you should be able to write down all your debts.
All of our debts.
All your debts. Everyone you owe, maybe by name. If it's a bank, the bank and the amount.
The amount, yeah.
If it is a shopkeeper somewhere, the shopkeeper's name and the amount. If it's a sibling, don't take it for granted that because they gave you, you will keep silent and forget about it. So the first thing is face all those debts. Know that I owe this bank this amount, I owe this circle this amount, I owe this colleague this amount, I owe this app this amount, I owe Lisa and all that.
What?
Write them down, one by one.
Yeah.
That's the best way of, the first step maybe to tackling that the debt issue that you have. Then after you have written them down, then you will be able to do two things. One, arrange them in the order of priority.
Arrange them in the order of priority.
Yes.
The most urgent, maybe?
Yes, the most urgent and maybe the least urgent.
Oh, okay.
And by that I mean, most people, or rather most organizations that give you debt, even if they give you deadlines to pay, they won't maybe force you to pay within that deadline. All they'll do is roll it over and increase the charges on that debt. So there'll be higher interest and there'll probably be a rollover cost. So to them, it's more money.
Rollover cost and interest, what's the difference?
Difference is if maybe you have a debt of 10,000 shillings and you're supposed to pay it by maybe the 30th of every month. So if the interest rate is 10%, it means at the end of that month, the debt will have cost you 1,000 shillings. So if you pay by 30th, then you'll only pay the debt 10,000 and the interest 1,000 shillings. But if it rolls over to another month, you'll most likely incur an additional charge of either a percentage or a fixed charge. Or maybe they'll say 500 shillings for not paying within the required period.
Wow, okay. We need to learn these things actually. Ndio mtu akikopa, like you take a facility with a bank,
Yes.
know exactly.
Yeah, but most people, of course, do not read the final prints about that.
And hapo ndio tunakamatwa vizuri.
Yes. So when you have that in your priority list, so you're avoiding it to roll over, you're avoiding it to be more expensive for you, so that whatever income you get, remember the budgeting process we talked about the other time, then you could have an envelope for clearing debts. So now you'll start with the most urgent first.
Okay.
Then the other debts, you can look at a way of consolidating them. Most organizations can be able to buy debts from other organizations. This is how it works. If I have debts with 3 different banks, one bank I owe them 500, another bank I owe 200,000, another bank 300,000. So you have a total debt of 1 million, but in different institutions. So if I can go to another organization like a SACCO and tell them, I have these 3 loans. Kindly pay all the 3 banks so that now I only owe you this amount. So that will help you to have a consolidated kind of way of paying, because now you'll know the principal that you're supposed to be paying only to one organization, and 2, the interest only to one organization. So that when you are prioritizing them, you can be able to, I mean, it will be easier for you without affecting your cash flows a lot.
Now, let me ask you that's a very interesting thing that you've mentioned. Of course, many are aware that you can ask an institution to buy off your debt from somewhere.
Yes.
Now, let's say if I owe money to Bank A and Bank B, and then I approach Circle A and tell them, I have these credit facilities, buy them. So do they buy even with the interest and the timelines? Please explain that.
Okay, no, that will depend on different variables. One is how the bank is charging the interest, because as you know, maybe from your business classes, there is compound interest and there is simple interest. Compound interest is interest that is charged even on the interest that was there previously. Simple interest is interest only on the principal. Then there are institutions that charge interest for the whole period of the loan. The others that charge on what we call a reducing balance method. That if you take a loan with an institution that charges interest per year, it means you'll pay the whole interest, irrespective of whether you pay the whole loan in the middle of the year or after the first month. But if you take a loan with an institution that charges on reducing balance, it means if you stay with the loan for only 1 month, you'll only pay interest for that amount for that 1 month.
Okay.
So those are some of the finer prints that we're talking about when you're reading the terms and conditions. So that when this institution that is buying off all these other loans will approach a Bank A or Bank B, then the cost of that loan or the amount that that bank will ask from this person that is buying off the loans will depend on those factors. Whether the interest was simple, whether the interest was compound, whether it was a straight line or on reducing balance. But all in all, when someone is in a crisis, like a debt crisis, the costs doesn't become an issue. You know, you are looking for a way to relieve of that burden. Because you can agree, if you have a debt, if you owe someone, even eating and sleeping, you know, your phone is always on flight mode because you're wondering every new number, who could this be calling? Because it could be someone that you owe money. Most of these debts that we incur, especially the mobile phone debts, it's debt that we don't, it's money that we don't need, but it is made available, and the company that is giving you this debt works on you, for lack of a better term, on your greed for money. That you're seated somewhere in your house, you don't have any luck, you maybe you're watching your favorite episode on TV, and then you get a message on your phone that you qualify maybe from your bank for this amount of money.
The temptations, my goodness.
So that temptation is what I'm calling the company that is sending you that message knows that your demand or your greed for money is high. So sorry for using that word.
No, it is greed that has people in debt. Because you can avoid some. I actually don't have those apps. I have never, sijakopa from those funny apps like Tala and all those other things. It's very easy to control, and it's also very hard to control your greed for money.
Okay, then maybe the other part that we mentioned at the beginning, if you have to take a debt, make sure it's not a consumption debt. You know, most people, like if I came to your house and found this kind of seats and a big TV, and I see the car you're driving, at the back of my mind, I'll be envious. You know, I'll want to have such kind of a seat. I'll want to drive.
Available at the Habitat.
I'll want to drive your kind of car. And when I go home, I will not be happy with my normal seats. I'll not be happy with my small TV. I'll not be happy riding the matatu. And I'll want to live
that
at
kind
your
of
standards.
life that I have
Exactly.
seen you live. Yeah.
Exactly. So since my bank allows me to take a loan of because I have a pay slip, or my circle allows me to take a loan because I have shares. So I'll go and apply the loan. I'll buy those nice chairs. I'll buy that big TV. I'll even buy a good car. But all those things are consumables. As long as it's not a tool for production, a consumption, I think, doesn't have to be food that you're eating.
It can be borrowing for a nice recliner seat.
A nice recliner seat for sitting. If you're just sitting on it, it's not earning you an income in future. Even its resale value, after some point,
it's gonna go down.
it will go down.
Yeah.
So if people can adhere to that, that if you have to borrow, borrow for production. So that when you borrow maybe to build an apartment for rentals, or you borrow to buy a matatu for, or a car for car hire.
Yeah, true,
so
true.
the moment you're doing biashara, the returns from that biashara will enable you to pay the loan and even maybe have some for your consumption.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, like, buy this very lovely recliner seat.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
At
okay.
only, how much?
At only 195,000 shillings.
Yes, but make sure that you don't take a debt to buy them.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think with those key pointers, anyone can be able to avoid debt and also come out from the depths of debt. For those who are employed, you might seem as if you're comfortable living in that cycle because every month you get your payslip, you have all those deductions made, and you work for another month, you get another payslip. So you might feel as if the cycle is okay with you, and you might even be tempted to take other debts because you have the payslip. But what debt does is that it robs you and whoever you will leave on this earth, their inheritance. Because for now you might be comfortable. For now you might be living hand to mouth because you have a payslip.
Yeah.
But remember, every day that passes, it's a day closer to your retirement. And upon retirement, that paycheck will automatically not go away. And if you spend all your working life paying debt, it means you didn't have money
For your retirement.
for investments
Oh, yeah.
and for retirement. And that is why there was a study that was done, and it is available in one of the dairies, that said about 70% of retirees die within 5 years.
After retirement.
After retirement.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So what does that mean? It means that someone was used to the life of having money, paycheck to paycheck. Someone did not invest in any income generating activity. And
they didn't start a side hustle.
they didn't start a business. They didn't start anything.
Yeah.
They didn't have investments in banks or in shares that will earn dividends or that kind of return. And upon retirement, the paycheck stops. So it means if they were renting a house, they can't be able to afford that house anymore. So they have to go back to up country. And if they go back to up country, it means now they have to depend on the people that they meet there. And those people that they meet there are not ready for them after they retire.
Actually, sometimes they even met with an attitude of, so you've been living in the city all your life, and now when you're old and frail, and
that's when you're coming
ni
back.
wengi wenye maringo ni mingi sana, they don't even travel back home.
They don't.
They don't even travel back home when they are banjukaing in the cities.
Yes.
So you're old and frail, and now you have to go back to the village.
Yes.
And you will meet people who walijipanga kitambo
They
sana.
walijipanga, or at least even if they don't have that kind of luxury, they don't have debts.
They don't have, nice, they don't have debts.
They don't have debts, so they don't have stress every day when they wake up. They're able to, they're used to their small incomes. They're able to milk a cow, sell the milk, I mean, enjoy a cup of soup at the evening, go back home, sleep. No stress.
Yeah, no stress.
But this person who comes home after 65 years doesn't have any savings didn't plan for their retirement.
Maybe hata wajajenga nyumbani
Wajajenga nyumbani vizuri.
Yeah.
And with the current economic times, even their children are not well off to take care of them.
Yeah.
So the stress coupled with diseases that come because of the stress, lack of medication, within 5 years,
they're out,
we have a
dead.
funeral. Yeah.
Ah, sad.
So please don't rob your future by taking a big debt today.
So in your closing shot on debt management.
Okay, so we have said several things, so I'll just recap them very quickly. That one, if there's a saying, I think it's an Irishman who said that if you'd rather sleep hungry than take a debt, they knew what they were saying. Then there's a second saying that my father always told me, that neither a borrower nor a lender be. That neither a borrower nor a lender be. Don't take debts, don't lend your money.
Ah.
That snippet is that.
Tunaambiwa kwa Biblia we are lenders anyway, okay.
And not borrowers. And then the other snippet is that the best friend you have is your coin. It's the money that you have. It's the investments that you make. That is your best friend. If you go out there without money, it will be hard to make friends. It will be hard to depend on people. No one will just come out of nowhere to help you. So your best friend, even when you're sick, it's your money.
Coin.
It's your coin. In the... Okay, sorry. So to get out of debt, we've said prioritize your debts, pay the small debts first, pay the urgent debts first, consolidate big debts, pay them as one debt, and at all costs avoid further debts, because the more you're indebted, the more you rob your future. Thank you.
Wow, wow, thank you very much, Joseph Kanani. That has been a very enlightening conversation on money matters, on this weekly segments or conversations that we shall be having concerning money. And we want to learn, so how do you manage your money? How do you stay out of debt? How do you invest? All these conversations are very key as we jenga our biasharas, our hustles, because at the end of it all, we all want to win, and win by ensuring that we are living very comfortable and stress-free lives. So we are calling on you, dear viewer, to send us any question concerning matters, money, finances, debt, budgeting, all these things that you need to learn as you're building your hustle. Kama wewe ni mama mboga, jama wa boda, you're building your business and you're looking for ways to, structure your finances. Kindly write to us on hustleszetu@gmail.com or send us an SMS at 0741894336. Again, 0741894336 with any question or any topic that you would want us to address on our Money Mondays, which are related to finance and money and all those things that can help us be able to package and live better stress-free lives. Follow us on our social media pages, that is on Facebook, on TikTok and on Instagram, for this and many other conversations. So thank you very much for watching. This is Eunice Njeri, and this is a Hustles ZETU.